they were in society and what they felt around a community affected those opinions. So we compiled the videos and a bunch of statistics we found and put them into our project to give a better understanding about where opinions about the community come from and have you be more open and understanding to how the outside community, outside of where we all are every day, feels about them. So with the survey, if you could just remind actually first, I need someone to raise their hand and tell me what they wrote for their definition of love. Someone would mind sharing. Grace.
I wrote everlasting respect for life.
I have one more person.
When you promise to make your partner breakfast, but burn everything and the toaster kind of catches on fire a little bit, but they still want to spend the day with you and they forgive you.
So if you could remind yourselves of your answers to the second part of it, just what you put for each one, A, B, C, and D, and then I'm going to have everyone close their eyes, and I'm going to read each one off, and if you felt it was unacceptable, I'm going to want you to raise your hand. We're going to have our eyes closed so you don't have to worry about, if you don't want other people to see you, so I just want you guys to be honest. So everyone can close their eyes. Okay, large age gaps. If you feel it's unacceptable, raise your hand.
Wait, acceptable or
Unacceptable, you raise your hand. Okay, next one, interreligion, raise your hand if you feel it's acceptable. Okay, next one, interracial, unacceptable. Okay, and same-sex marriage, unacceptable. Okay, everyone can open their eyes. There was not a majority of the class felt each was unacceptable, but there were some here and there. Okay, so before we actually talk about the different kinds of relationships, we figured we should just get an understanding about the different definitions of love that are out there, and so we shared yours today. The dictionary's literal definition of love says that love is an intense feeling of deep affection. And there's some quotes from other people, and someone says it's a purpose of human life, no matter who is controlling it, is to love whoever is around to be loved. Another one says love is kind of when you wake up before the sun comes out, it's just a little while and then it burns away. Love is a fog that burns for the first daylight of reality. And the Bible says that God is love. So now we're going to see what some of our interviewees said about love.
And being able to find a commonality between them and being able to coexist.
I think that love is just caring more about your relationship with someone else than yourself.
I think it can happen between friends, family, and in a romantic setting.
Love. My definition of love would be complete devotion and respect to another person.
Okay, so now as we go on to this survey, I want you all to keep in mind what you answered to the questions on the survey and the next couple questions I asked. So, how many of you have ever done something because other people would think it was cool or because you feel like you get more accepted by it? We've all done it. And how many of you ever not dated someone or maybe not even become friends with them because they were different from your peers? And I can honestly say that I wouldn't talk to someone sometimes if everyone thought that person was weird, just because you're afraid of that awkward, we don't like you anymore because you like them. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you go through the presentation. So our first question that we asked is how our interviewees thought about large age gaps between couples, and who's really said about that?
The only time where I kind of question it would be, someone who's still going through maturity in terms of, like a teenager and a 30-year-old. I don't think would necessarily be appropriate, just because the teenager doesn't necessarily have the life experience to know whether or not the relationship is appropriate for them.
A 20-year-old has experienced a lot more, so I think that the 18-year-old potentially can be taken advantage of, possibly in some other ways, and I think your risk for other unhealthy signs of relationships definitely will go up when you have that large age gap with young people.
The age of 5-year difference, I would say, really doesn't make a difference after you're 30. I don't think age gaps matter. People mature at different rates.
Depending on how people are mature-wise, I think if they're mature, that a large age gap wouldn't matter, and that they can be far apart in age. But when you're younger, you don't want a 20-year-old dating a 10-year-old, that'd be really weird. But I think
35% of women said they actually wouldn't mind a 7-year age difference, but with male and female, 44% of single people said 5 years is the biggest acceptable age gap, and only 1 in 100 women said that the ideal relationship is with a younger man. One over here.
The next question we asked was about interreligion marriages. And it was actually really nice because with this question we got 2 personal stories from our interviewees that really brought up more about how they really felt about it.
In terms of interreligion marriages, I actually know of a young couple who just got married and are going through struggles with this. One person is very religious, whereas the other person actually doesn't have a defined religion at all. And it's definitely a struggle to kind of come to, that middle ground and, learn to be able to meet with each other's beliefs and understand that you have different beliefs.
The last wedding I went to was actually a inter-religion wedding, and it was awesome. It was a beautiful wedding. The 2 people who got married have done really, really well so far, and I'm really happy. There was a lot of give and take as far as what customs were going to be and what spots of the wedding and stuff like that. But I don't really think it caused like a major amount of conflict, just people agreeing to disagree in certain spots.
Interreligion marriages does not bother me at all. I think they just got to decide on which is going to be the dominant religion to raise their children.
Okay. So with that, statistics show that interfaith marriages are 3 times more likely to be divorced or separated than those who are in the same religion marriages. And we actually have a pie chart here that shows statistics on who supports interreligion marriages. Actually, more than half supported it, about a third didn't, and 2% didn't know. And something with the interreligion that we got out of a lot of the interviews was that a big thing was that they needed to know what the child would be raised on, and that was a big point a lot of them made. So our next question was how they felt about interracial marriages.
One of the things I always joke about this is that I actually am in the literal sense colorblind. So I always kind of, when I have these discussions about interracial relationships, I tell people that I don't see in color. And I don't. I don't. And I think that, there's still different parts of the state and the country where people would look twice if they saw different races walking down the street holding hands.
Just think for me, culturally, there's such a big gap between certain races that I don't know if I would be happy just because of the culture change. So just for that reason, the types of food they eat and the types of things they believe and the holidays and just the way culturally different things are stressed. For myself personally, I don't know if I would be happy with someone in a different culture.
Hard enough for 2 people to get together and devote their lives to each other. I think any interracial marriage would just add too much pressure. I think society still doesn't fully accept it.
When it comes to interracial relationships, I was brought up by my grandfather that it's wrong because I'm half Hispanic and half white, and my grandpa was mad at my mom for being with a Hispanic guy. But it comes to you don't choose who you fall in love with, and that's a big thing. People don't see that.
In 2010, 1 in 12 couples were interracial, and 73% of African American and white couples are with an African American male and a white female. And this just shows the growing diversity of different race couples. And can anyone just tell me or raise your hand if you know an interracial couple? See it a lot, and they exist. They're all around.
Okay, so the last kind of big topic that we asked them about was something that we hear about a lot nowadays, and that's gay marriage. And this is what they had to say about it.
Because I'm a relatively religious person, marriage, in my opinion, is the union between a man and a woman in a religious setting.
Growing up as a child, it's another thing that in the household was very shocking. Again, on television, it was portrayed as not the right thing to do, being with someone who was the same sex. And today, things have changed very much, and it's come to light that people feel they were born to feel this way.
Again, as long as everybody's happy, and people won't try to put their views on me. I'm fine with it. Personally, I don't think the word marriage and same-sex belong to the same sense.
When it comes to same-sex marriage, obviously I am for it, but I was brought up against it by my dad, and kind of my mom, but not so much. But I've viewed a lot of my own opinions on it even before I came out, and I think it's you love who you love, and you can't help that.
Okay. So some statistics on gay marriage is that I actually got this like 2 days ago. I wanted to update it as much as possible. I'm strongly in favor of it. It's 53%, and it's grown 3% in the past 4 months. And 42% oppose it, but they say that's because like 66% of strong Republicans oppose it, and there's about 5% unsure. But public support has increased 1% per year for the past 20 years. Now, with all these things, it's kind of difficult to realize that they're in our own community every day. We're surrounded by the same people majority of the time. We've been in this high school for 4 years. And I know personally, if I was told picture a couple, I would be picturing 2 people my age, and I would be picturing them both white, and I would be picturing a boy and a girl. Because that's just that's the majority types of relationships that I see every day. But sometimes we don't realize that those relationships are in our school. And so we compiled a collage besides this picture. Each one of these people have either walked through these halls or are your classmates right now. So you can see that there are a bunch of different types of relationships in our own school. And that's something that I think we need to realize, that this is happening in our own community and not so much with like Congress and gay marriage and like outside in the adult world, but it's happening here now with our own community.
Okay, we're going to have a little discussion about the video and the things you saw. I want to know if any of your opinions on any of these topics either changed or you realized something that you didn't know or something you found interesting.
When you guys talked about interracial marriages, I guess my mind immediately went to just black and white, because when people hear that was the big hoopla. That's what everyone's afraid of, or used to be. And when George talked, and he talked about being Hispanic and half white, that kind of set a light bulb off in my head. Is I didn't realize that that's also, also sort of an interracial thing that can be frowned upon and people aren't so approving of. I thought that was interesting to think about in a new perspective.
Awesome. And I want someone to tell me like anything you feel that molds someone's opinion about these kind of situations. Anything in their life, people, community.
I feel like definitely parents mold a lot of these decisions that like we make, like who we're gonna date and like why we're gonna date that, and like because like that matters to you. Like what you're like when you bring someone home, you want your parents to approve of them. You don't want them to be like, oh my god, like I hate them. Like, it's really awkward all the time. So
No, definitely. I don't have anything.
And just an example, in our interview, we interviewed someone who grew up in another country. They didn't want their face to be shown, but they said certain things that like they thought we were doing it backwards, that you're not supposed to get married until you're 28, you're supposed to raise your kids and then get a job and then go to college. So it really is like, and before that person came here, they've seen maybe one African American in their entire life. So it's like a big change, and your ethnicity definitely is a huge part of that.
Well, we really enjoyed working on this project, and we found it really, really interesting to see the variety of opinions and attitudes towards these different things in people that live in our community, not our school community that we're here every day, but outside and family life and your social community. And we think it opened us up, and we hope it opened you up to kind of accepting more of what people think. We're not trying to persuade you to view a certain way, but we want you to be more open and understanding to where opinions come from and how everyone feels about them.
So our point here today is not to change your opinion in any way, it's just to open you up to new ones. And as we go on to college, we're going to be subjected to many different things, and we're going to have to learn to listen and take those things in, but still stick to our own opinions. And as